Just an introduction to aliens before we start the video. Aliens have a strange history. Do you know aliens have been visiting our planet since the evolution times? It might seem like a bizarre idea to most of the people, but it is true. Aliens possessed futuristic technology since the Stone Age. They have been visiting our ancestors for many different reasons. Ancient aliens used to visit our planet to extract essential minerals and teach the laws of science and technology to human beings. We have been consistently fed with the idea that aliens plan to invade our planet and their intentions towards humans are vicious. The entire idea is false. Aliens have never harmed mankind in any manner. We have been able to witness many UFO sightings, but it has resulted in no harm to humans or Earth. Welcome to Infinite Questions. Today I am going to talk about the origins of the gods and religion. Have the churches and religious dogma been fooling us? Are there traces of artifacts and ancient writings pointing directly to aliens? Have you ever wondered or questioned the existence of the biblical God, whether it be the Christian God of the Bible or the God from the Quran, or the many gods of India, and on and on? I have. It would be heartwarming to think that there was some magical omnipotent being, tracking our every move and protecting us from suffering and pain, but I have found a more logical explanation. Let's take a look first at the Book of Enoch, that was omitted from the Bible. Enoch was 365 years old before he was taken by, let's say, God instead of aliens for now. Enoch's son was Methuselah, who was at that time 187 years old. The literature suggests Enoch was to announce the coming of a great flood, and he also visited the heavens, or in my understanding outer space. He told a story of seeing continents and even described the inside of the craft. In biblical writing, why does God refer to himself in the plural? As Christians, we believe in one God, so why does he refer to himself in the plural in verses such as Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 and Genesis chapter 3 verse 22? Some Jewish commentators have suggested that when God said, "Let us make man in our image," he was also speaking to the angels, but that's not likely the case in this narrative. Furthermore, in Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 and Genesis chapter 3 verse 22, God uses the name Elohim in reference to himself. This has a plural meaning. So, if our God is one, Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 4, how does this compute? Why would a singular God refer to himself in the plural? And what does this mean for us today? What I believe it means is that when God refers to the Elohim, he is referring to his race, as we would refer to our race as humans. Okay, let's talk a little about Moses. Now we must be able to understand the event by analyzing it in a completely unbiased and rational manner. Moses went up on the Mount Sinai to talk to the superior power. Do you know that Moses talked to a burning bush on the Mount Sinai? Is it possible that a burning bush can talk? No, it is not possible. A spaceship might have landed on the Mount Sinai surrounded in the smoke of active volcano while the fire came out of the exhaust of the UFO. The aliens might have talked through a speaker while the fire and smoke covered the UFO. This seems more logical than the explanation present in the Holy Bible. At one point Moses asks God if he can see the craft of his arrival, and God says no, you must protect yourself in the mountain crevice, and God hides his eyes or he would surely die. Was this an attempt to shield Moses from the exhaust or bright light emitting from the craft? Would God need a craft if he is omnipresent? Strange stuff indeed. It is reasonable to say that people in ancient times would not know how to describe technology that they had never seen before. A plane would become a great bird, a laser would become a staff of lightning, on from there. You understand where I'm going with this. Perhaps an alien race called the Elohim that are the precursors to what we call humanity created us genetically in order to extend the Elohim's providence on another world as they represented themselves as godlike beings. There are literally thousands of examples of alien interventions throughout the Christian Bible. That would take a 24-hour video, but let's change it up and look at alien interactions in the region of India. Ancient astronaut theorists believe that according to old Indian texts, gods descended from the sky in Vimana, also known as flying vehicles. The Hindu ancient texts and Vedas, religious teachings, are full of amazing stories about different gods, their extraordinary powers, and battles that took place many centuries ago. Their sagas are perceived as mythological stories that create useful lessons for application in real life. These myths describe gods who fight with against evil forces on flying crafts. These were originally known as Ratha, before being more commonly referred to as Vimana, meaning traversing or measured out. Vimanas are flying chariots, or even flying palaces, mentioned in Sanskrit epics and Hindu texts. The Pushpaka Vimana of Ravana, the central antagonist in the Hindu epic of Ramayana, is a great example. These flying chariots are also mentioned in the edicts of Ashoka in the 3rd century BC, as well as Jainist texts. Similar to the chariots of ancient biblical texts, these aircraft came in different sizes and various shapes that could travel at several speeds to different distances. Some of them were seafaring and land vehicles, while others even flew to the moon or even further. Most flying saucers come from authentic ancient Indian texts, of which many are ancient epics themselves. Most of these texts have not been translated into the English language. So, we are faced with consistent textual evidence of flying machines used in ancient battles, described with details which seem to suggest extremely advanced technology. Now, personally, I had always thought that the traditional flying saucer or disc was an invention of 1950s Hollywood cinema. However, the flying saucer can be seen throughout human history from cave paintings to the medieval times. These drawings and paintings are depicted in almost all areas of the planet, and they all share a common theme: the flying saucer-shaped vehicle. To religious paintings and even the Renaissance period. Now, with all this evidence, I wonder why and ask the question, that how is it that all these stories of flying craft, sky people, advanced technology had been written down as gods from India to Brazil, the Americas, and so on? They have derived these painting and literature as being gods. Interesting, isn't it? I would find it hard to believe that the evidence is some kind of a worldwide cover-up, considering the lack of communication thousands of years ago between the reigning empires, kingdoms and governments of the day. I believe they had no way of understanding what they were dealing with, and any kind of superior technology would in ancient people's eyes be godlike, and that's the way they would be represented in their historical and religious documents. After doing some more research, I asked myself, so why are there so many different religions, even though the same theme of alien influence remains in every culture: the Mayans, the indigenous people of the Americas, Egypt, and so many others? Then it came to me that through my research there had been many alien species that had visited us in different parts of the planet, with different morals, different technology and so on, that combined with the independent culture of the humans they had interacted with produced literature based primarily on their cultural interpretation of what they were experiencing. Apparently there are at least 36 intelligent alien civilizations in our galaxy, say scientists. For years all we've had is the Drake equation to help us understand the question, but no indication of an answer. Now a group of scientists at the University of Nottingham think they've come up with a new cosmic evolution-based calculation, or, rather, an estimation, that suggests that there are likely to be at least 36 ongoing intelligent civilizations in our Milky Way galaxy. The Milky Way, home to our solar system, is estimated to have 100 billion to 400 billion stars, and roughly one exoplanet per star in our galaxy. Apparently the aliens that have influenced humans for thousands of years are as follows: the Greys, the Sasani, the Arcturians, the Nordics, the Pleiadians, the Yayal, the Anunnaki, Alpha Draconian, and finally the Reptilians. I will do a video on the individual characteristics of each species at a later date. Now back to the theory that God is an alien. I believe that the things that are shared in common with every religion in every country and culture is this: greed, power and control. Why tell your population a true origin story when you can morph it into an opportunity to control and extract wealth from a population? Religion is by itself worldwide a trillion-dollar industry, and this narrative has been passed down from ancient kings, pharaohs, and the like, for thousands of years. And has been a way of exacting a church's will on its own people with the threat of eternal death for anyone who dare opposes the religion. What a great way to control a population without them even knowing they are controlled. Think of this. Let's just use the Christian God for now as an example. What would a being that is omniscient, omnipotent, the creator of time and space and everything that exists within it, the creator of all flora and fauna, and life as we know it? A mind so vast with intellect that we could never understand. Why would that God or being want anything that we have to offer, like goats, sheep, human life, money, or anything for that matter? That narrative that is replete throughout all religion should give you an idea of how it has been manipulated to serve one thing, and that would be people in power or influence. I am afraid our true origins have been lost through time and power, and that we will never truly know the truth. Consider the fact that the Vatican, the center of the Catholic faith, has ancient document and artifact that number in the thousands, and they are restricted for public viewing, lost in time in a vault and protected by the Vatican's own personal army. So I have a question. And that question is why? Is it because those documents would reveal that we ourselves are the product of an alien origin? Or that those documents would reveal that we were in fact assisted in our evolution by alien races from another world? The evidence just keeps mounting, like the pyramids in ancient Egypt that cannot be constructed today with our conventional technology. Or the stone walls in Scotland that have been fused by heat to produce glass, Skeletal remains of ancient people with elongated skulls or the giants uncovered in unmarked graves are the classic UFO photos that can't be explained. Even NASA has declassified documents leaving us with the conclusion that alien life is out there. Even in our own history, aliens had been helping us or hindering us. I guess it's a matter of perspective. It's been suggested the Ark of the Covenant was a weapon of alien origin to rain destruction on God's enemies. Even in the century, Hitler was obsessed with ancient alien technology. And it was theorized that the technology he obtained was from an alien influence. I'd like to submit a thought using the movie and series called Stargate. In the movie, the concept is actually believable. A race of aliens called the Goa'uld would travel to young or technologically deprived planets and represent themselves as gods. They would teach them literature and math, but they would also use them as slaves to harvest gold or minerals that they required. The aliens would travel through a device called a Stargate, because as far as we know today, faster than light travel is impossible. Anyway, their purpose is to subjugate a planet's population and influence the population's evolution. The aliens' technology was superior in equipment and healing as well as weapons. That being said, Earth was spared the fate of slavery by another race that protected Earth. That in some small way would explain the absence of any hardcore proof. I must admit, why we have never found any equipment or technology from ancient times, or we can always go with the fact that we have found technology but our respective governments control it and keep it all under wraps. Who can really know? Sometimes I have to wonder why people find it easier to believe in magic stories than something based in reality. Perhaps it gives them comfort to endure the doldrums and pains of life, I am not sure. But one thing I do know is humanity has been subjected to one of the biggest frauds in human history, and that would be mainstream religion in any culture. I believe we have been controlled to be in constant production to avail ourselves of constant consumption while the elite know the truth. But in closing, do you want a real mind bender? If aliens races do exist, and I believe they do, who created them? Maybe God? Hey folks, thank you very much for watching. What did you think of the video? Put your comments below, I'm really interested in your point of view. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button for more videos. And on that note, may the Force be with you.